4 o'clock, and you are joining the Admin Reporting in NCEES webinar for 2020-21. It is our last webinar of the year. We're getting very excited to have some holidays coming up. So I did put the link in the chat, and I'll do that one more time for those of you just joining. And we'll try to do that off and on as folks join the webinar to get you that link to today's slides. So it is in your chat, and let me get to the next slide. If you're not familiar with the Webex training that we've been using, we are in the Webex training site, and depending on how you joined us, it will show you what panel that you see. Mine goes to the top of the page, and I can go up there and drop it down, and I can open my chat box, and I can open the participants panel to see who's joined us. And in your participants panel, you have hands you can raise, green checks you can put for yes, and a red X if you are answering no if you have any questions like that. Most everybody will select call using computers, but we usually keep everybody mute until the end of the webinar, and we stop recording and unmute you if you have any additional questions you didn't want in the recording. And yes, we are recording right now. If you need to speak during the webinar, just put that in the chat, and we will be glad to unmute you. Go ahead and say hi to each other in the chat. That's perfectly fine while we're getting ready to start. We do have a lot to cover today. We are covering all of the reporting as much as we can that's available in NCEES. I am Cammie Nairn. I am your NCEES Education Product Consultant at DPI in the Digital Teaching and Learning Division for Home Base. And Kim Simmons usually joins us, but she is sick and her husband is sick, so please keep them in your prayers. I do see, and I'm thinking, my colleague on home base, Tessa. Yes, Tessa's here. Are you where you can say hello, Tessa?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tessa Hine. I'm with the home base training team.
All right, and very appreciative of Tessa. She does an awesome job on the training team. Works a lot with PowerSchool, and she has joined me before in a previous webinar. So she's going to help monitor your questions today. And let me put the link to our slides one more time in there so Tessa can see them as well. All right, so let's get started because we are going to be rolling. We will jump to the live site here and there, but for the most part, I have a lot of screenshots in your slide deck, and if you want to jump to the live site and I've not gone there, just please put that in the chat. So our audience, this webinar is geared for an audience of system admin rights in NCEES of the district administrator or the site administrator. Teachers, it's a great view, especially if you're on track to be an administrator one day, to see about the reports in NCEES. But teachers do not have access to the reports in NCEES. So today our objective is to learn about the reporting features in NCEES. And here's just a quick look at our agenda. I'll just let you read over that so we can get started because we do have a lot to go over. So the first area that we're going to look at is your reporting tab. This is available to those with the system admin rights of district administrator. Those people with district administrator rights have been manually assigned those rights, and then they can get to the reporting tab. And then site administrators. So your head principals come in automatically to the system as a site administrator. Assistant principals, if you've joined us today, you come into the system as a user, so somebody must assign you site administrator rights to give you access to the reporting tab. And those steps on how to assign those rights are in the district administrator guide, which I have linked on this slide. So I'm just going to jump over real quick just to show you where we're going, and then we'll come back to the slide deck. So I am in the system as a site administrator, and where we're going is to this reporting tab over here. And we have 3 channels that we're going to review. We have our reports channel at the top of the page. And then we have this My Reports, where if you memorize reports that you've run up here, they'll show up here for you to run later, and we'll talk more about that. So you don't have to go through all the step-by-step steps to run a report. If you run it a lot, memorize it, so it will show up here. And then we'll talk some about your My Ad-Hoc Reports, your third channel on this page. And these are reports that have been published to you to run. Let me get back to our slides. All right, so I'm going to turn on my pointer and my captions just in case. There we go. All right, so we are looking at the first channel, which is you're selecting the reports to run. And when you're in here and you click into the reports, the first module that you could select is portal management. I don't know of a lot of folks that use this a lot, but this does give you an overview of login statistics by date. So what you would do is change the module up at the top to portal management, and the only report that you have to select there is login statistics by date. And I don't know if you can see this word in blue right here. Watch for that on this reportings area. It says click here for report descriptions, and if you click there, you get a list of our reports, and they should have descriptions. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. So once you've selected your report, you're going to click Next. And then on the next page, you're going to select who you want to run it for. And so you just select your school. Now, you're only going to see who you have access to. So district administrators, you may see district here and then have to drill down as far as you want to drill down. Site administrators, you're only going to see your school unless you have access to more than one school. And so you're going to click Next. And then on the next step, it's going to say, please enter the start date of this report. So in my example, I just left it on today's date, but you could run back through July. You can do a past date, and it will then give you your results, which I show you on the right there, just the status of how many people logged in and a summary of the login duration. So if you had selected other dates, if you started like at the beginning of December, then you would see December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all the dates here listed with how many of your staff have logged in. Now there's a better report for this on your staff dashboards, which we'll look at in a minute, because there you can get an individual report. So if your teachers are saying, well, I logged in yesterday and I've completed the steps, but you're not seeing that, you can actually go see, did they log in yesterday? So here's what everybody usually comes to this reporting channel for, and that's your Quick Reports module. So again, we're in the Reports channel, and the module we've now selected is Quick Reports. And there will be a list of several reports. So they used to be dated by year, and now we have our current reports. Now, tomorrow, when you come out here, you're going to see these doubled up. And I'll get a communication out tonight. But when they changed this year, and they did this select year item, which is great, you can select a report and then select the year you want to run it for. It took it out of those that wanted to schedule a report. I can no longer see current reports when I want to schedule a report. Maybe I want a report to run once a month, every couple of weeks. And I just want to go ahead and schedule it so I don't have to remember to go run it. Well, these reports are not available for that anymore, and I just discovered that. So they are fixing that today, and it should be fixed tomorrow, but what it does is it will double up the report. You're going to see a report where you can select the year, and you're going to see another report that is for only this current year. So don't be surprised if you see this doubled up tomorrow. So our asterisk report denotes that you can run either a current year report or choose a different year to run. Now, it's not going to run reports for 21, 22 yet because there's no data out there. Those years are out there because we will be moving over to those years coming in the future. Okay, and big note It's best to run any reports in NCEES during your current year. And that's because the NCEES data tables are pretty much only current year data tables. If you work with PowerSchool or CEES, you know they have a lot of tables and they store past year information. NCEES does not really do that. So if you want accurate information, please run your reports during the current year. All right, and we talked about the link description. Down below, I selected the activity lock report, and down below you can see a sample of what that looks like after you run it. Okay, again, here's just a lot of people want to know, well, what should I be running right now? Most people I've talked to, they're pretty much running this evaluation completion exception report. It's an awesome report to let you know the status of the activities and all the evaluations, the status of those observation activities. 1, 2, 3, the peer, and if we were at the end of the year, it also includes the summary evaluation conference. So if you want to try one out, that is a great one to try out to see the status of your staff's activities in their evaluations. Have they completed it? Is it in progress? That's a good report to run. Yep, and yet Lisa said saying she loves this report. That's what I hear from a lot of the DAs. Yep, it works really well. So when you have a report, once it populates, if you scroll all the way down, almost all of them have this memorize report button on them. So if this is a report you're going to run often, if you don't want to do the next, done to get it to run, go ahead and memorize your report, and then it will be listed right here on the channel for your My Reports. So this will be posted in the My Reports. But I wanted to show you how to memorize the reports while we're in the first channel. So you're going to click that Memorize Report button. It will let you update the name so that you can create a name that makes the most sense to you. So when you see it in your Memorize Reports channel, you'll know what it is, and then you can run it. So this is a sample of what it looks like in your Memorize Reports page. Notice you can run it. You can delete the report from the Memorize Reports. You can create another report which takes you back to the channel for the Quick Reports module. You can select Manage Reports, and that's going to take you to the Reports Administration page, where you're going to see another list of your Memorize Reports with another button to take you back to the Quick Reports, the Create Report, takes you back to the module for running Quick Reports. And then we have scheduling. So do you want to schedule your reports to run at certain dates and times? You can pick one date for it to run in the future, or you can pick recurring dates for it to run in the future. All right, so don't try this today. This is what they're fixing right now, but you can schedule your reports to run. So we're going to click that Schedule Quick Reports button, and it will open up the Manage Schedule Quick Reports page. From there, you can see a filter. So if you have in the past scheduled reports, and you have a lot of them, you can filter the page to find your reports. But what we want to do is create the Schedule Quick Report. So we're going to click Create Schedule Quick Report. Then we're going to fill out the form, and we're going to look at that in just a second. On the form here, and I hope you guys can see that. I hope it's big enough. You'll see your Quick Report that you're going to select. Use the drop down. It's the same drop down that's in the Quick Reports module. You're going to name your report, give it a title. Then you're going to name the file that is going to be emailed to you. So you can put a name for the file in there. If you want to have a date on that name, use the date macro. Then you're going to select your export date. What day do you want this report to run? And then if you want to select a time, put in the time for it to run. Is this going to be a recurring report? So here you notice I said, yes, I want to run this monthly. Well, then it will open up these next two. your recurrence pattern and your range of recurrence. And so here you want to bullet which one do you want to recur. Do you want to do the day? And so I could put day, I want this to run on the 15th day every 1 month or every 3 months. You can do that. And then you can select a range of occurrence. When does this need to end? So you can end it. If I pick the 15th day of every month, maybe I wanted that to run for the next 6 months. So I can say end after 6 occurrences. Or I can select the end date to run it by. Maybe I want these reports to run up through June. So then I would pick a date in June for them to end by. And then all important, who's going to get this report? You need to enter the email. So I would enter my email here. If my principal needs to get a copy, if my superintendent needs to get a copy, just put a comma and add their email as well. Make sure you comma separate your email. And then all the rest of these, leave them blank. FTP server is only available at DPI level. So what you want is this emailed report. So leave these blanks. Now I did run into an issue when I was testing this out, is that my system was trying to autofill the password here or the username. So make sure you blank those out or you will see that same error message. These can remain blank. And once you do that, you're going to click done. I forgot the word, and I click add. So you're going to click add. And then your report is added to your memorized reports list. Okay. All right. So now, any questions about that first channel? And that was your module where you select your module reports. All right. We're going to go down to the second channel, and that's the My Reports channel. And of course, we've halfway talked about this already because we've memorized reports to show up in the My Reports channel. And again, you have another link. They love all these links to get back to areas. So here's your Create Report, which opens that Reports channel, the first channel on the page. And then we have Manage Reports. And this is going to open your Reports Administration page where you can view your memorized reports, where you can click on the title to run it right then, or you can edit or remove it from the list, or you can navigate back to your scheduled quick reports again. So here is your next channel down. Did anybody have any questions? That was a quick view of that second channel. Okay, I don't see any come in. So our third channel down on the My Ad-Hoc Reports is right here. There are 2 sections in there, and My Reports Templates and My Cached Reports. Now what goes in here? Well, under My Reports Templates, you can view any ad hoc reports that have been built out and have been published to you. You won't see anything here unless somebody has published a report that you can run. Or, and when you do run the report, it's going to be restricted by your location and your access rights. So if you only have access to one school, the report is only going to return results from that location. And if you're limited somewhat in your access rights to the staff that you're running for, then you're only going to get those certain staff that you do have access to. And then the next area is My Cached Reports. So we're going to look at this in just a minute, but you're going to have a list of reports. When you run one, it emails you when it's done, but it also puts a link under My Cached Reports. And very important to know, Cached Reports results expire. So don't expect to come back in a month and see that report that you ran. Excuse me just a minute. Sorry about that. They expire within 4 to 5 days. So if you want to save a report that you ran, the results, you need to download the results. Okay. All right. So here we're going to look at the My Reports templates. And what I did was click the little arrow to open it up. Everybody that has a report published to them sees a run icon. And I thought I added the trash icon here, but maybe that's on the next slide. But if not, I'll go back and add it. If you created a report, you're also going to see a trash icon beside the run icon. So sorry it's not showing on this slide. But here is your run icon for any reports. Now, there's not a good way to sort this, and you may want to do a Control F on your screen once you show all to find a 1920 report or look for 2020 reports. So here's one here that DPI has published for self-assessment completion report. So you could click run and run that report. Now the show all link is going to show you all the reports that have been published. The reports that I create, I publish to all district administrators. And then I also have reports that I publish only to district administrators or to DAs and site administrators. Ah, there it is. There's the trash icon. So this is just another view. When you click the run icon, then it will open up your next page. It may or may not have filters showing. So I just wanted to have this screenshot showing you if the creator of the report has published a report and they have added filters to it so that you can maybe just search for all the Smiths. Maybe you just want to run a report of all the Smiths in your district. You could use that filter if it's included. Or maybe you have access to several schools. Maybe you just want to drill down to certain schools to run the report for. But you do not have to set filters just because they're there. Once you're ready to run your report, you're going to click search. Now, if this is data that summarizes, you could try including summary rows, but we don't have many reports that have like a summary of a total of numbers or percentages. So usually that's not used much. But click search to run that report. Okay, any questions about the reporting page? All right, I think we're doing pretty good on time. Staff dashboard reports, we're going to pop out and show you where we're going if you want to follow along in your system. We are going to come back to the slides. So your staff dashboards reports live under system administration. And if you're a site administrator or a district administrator, you will see the system administration. And depending on your rights, depends on what shows up here. So here is your staff dashboards link. And we may just stay out here and show you this. It might be easier to watch. So what you first need to do is decide how you want to select your staff. So I could browse by site, I could browse by demographics, I could search staff, or I can select a staff group that I've created. So if I'm looking at browse by site, you will only have access, if you drill down, to your location. So I could do that. Maybe I want to include, let me do search staff. So I'm going to include PD user. And so here's search staff. I can add this to narrow down my list. So notice all the different things that are in here, employee IDs, email addresses. We don't have home phones in the system. License expiration dates. Maybe you want to see everybody with a certain year expiration date on their license. That does come into NCEES. Maybe you want to see everybody on a monitor PDP plan that's in your group. All of those, you have several areas to choose from. So just come out here and play with this. And I'm going to click search. And I think my puppy's wanting out of the door, but I can't let him out right now. All right, so notice how that updated in the middle column to all my users with the last name PD user. So once you're here, you can group by site, and if they're in different sites, you'll see a list of the school name and then a list of everybody in there. Over here on the right is your dashboard reports. So the first one I wanted to show you was your portal report. If it doesn't take too long, there we go. All right, so this is the one I thought would be better for you to run. Now, of course, this right here is just a quick overview. You can print, and it's going to print what you see on this dashboard. Now, notice this little icon here, this spreadsheet, and I don't know if it'll do it since I have my test users, but let's see. It will give you individual information about logins. So if your teacher has said, I've logged in 6 times in the last week, you can come out here and it will show you who's logged in the last 0 to 14 days, how many, this person, they've not logged, it's been between 15 and 30 days since they've logged in. This person down here has not logged in the past year. So that gives you a good inkling of if they've been in the system or not to do their activities. Okay. I don't see any questions coming in, so we're going to move on. Learning opportunities is also on here. Don't know that anybody uses this much. There's not a drill down on this one. I can see that in September we had a lot of people registering for PD in NCEES. I had a big spike in September here with my group. The next tab over, sorry about that, tab over. This one we don't use a whole lot. There is completion status reports out here for you. I think the quick reports are better, so I would do the completion status there. And we're also going to look at staff evaluation completion reports. Let's see if I can text my husband to let the puppy out. Hope you don't hear him whining so much. All right, so try those out. I do not recommend the proficiency analysis reports because we do not rate staff with ratings during an observation. And the system is trying to determine that with these reports. We only rate staff at the end of the year. So your summary reports and quick reports will be a lot better to use. All right, so we're just going to move on to the individual information. Now, if I selected a user, their information will show up here. I think I used one of these earlier. Okay, so the learning opportunities, if they are registered or completed learning opportunities, this one shows me what they've registered for. And then I can look at their transcript. Let's see if we can find one. There we go. I can look at their transcript to see what credits they have. And I can actually navigate out to the transcript. Credentials we don't use in North Carolina. I can also look at what evaluation plans I have assigned. So let's look at one more area of reports, and that's your course completion reporting. So here you can, this is searching for PD. Maybe your district has created a course and you wanted everybody to take it. You can actually come out here and get your course number, surround it with parens. So like here, if I'm searching for course 35, if I don't put the parens around it, it's going to find every course number with course number 35 in it. So I put the parens around it. And of course, you could do title, you could do section number, section title. If you know the office it was created in, you can add that. You have dates to run here as well. And then down here, decide what you want on the report. So you have, do I want to see everybody that has not registered for this course? Do I want to see everybody that is registered for the course? Do I want to see everybody that is complete with the course, or all three? Now the summary is going to give you a percentage of who's completed, like how many, what percent is not registered, what percent of my group is registered, and what percent is complete. The details is going to give you a list of names, and it's going to give you, are they registered, not registered, or complete, depending on what you've checked here. All right, and that is your staff dashboards reports. Any question about the staff dashboard? If you've not used that, go out there and try it out a little bit. All right, let me come back to our slides. All right, I have screenshots for each of those, so if you have any questions, just refer back to the screenshots I think I've covered everything that we did talk about that in the screenshots. There's your different areas for each of the tabs for your staff on the staff dashboards. There's your course completion reporting. PowerSchool does have some pretty good help on this report, so I put the link here. All right, and we've covered this next one in some previous webinars, but I just wanted to do a quick review before we got into ad hoc reporting. So this is your staff evaluations reports page. And let me show you where to go for that. Let's see. So in here, we are actually now, as the site administrator or a district administrator, navigating to staff evaluations. And remember, you don't see anybody's plans here unless they've started them. So you should see everybody that has started their plans. This page only shows active plans. All right, I'm going to remove this so I can show you how it did look. So on this page is your all evaluation participation dashboard. So you have everybody's plans out here. And you should see, if you scroll out, the green checks or the blue in progress icons as to where they are at in the status of their plans. Maybe you want to find out everybody that's on the abbreviated plan, what is their statuses, and you want to have a spreadsheet of that. So what you can do is filter the page, and we're actually going to look for the plan type. I'm going to use plan. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Plan, I'm going to say equal to abbreviated 2020-21. And then I'm going to update this table, so I'll update my dashboard. Now I have all my people that are on abbreviated plans and their statuses there. Well, I don't want to have to like highlight and copy this. What I need to do, I can download a CSV, and it will download what it shows on this page. So you're going to click download CSV, and it will ask you what you want to do with it. I want to open it in Excel. Depending on how your computer's set up, you may have to save it and then open it. And now I have all my test users. Here is a good spreadsheet report of where they're at, who's completed an activity, who's not started an activity, all the way across the page. Okay, so that's your download CSV. We have one more report out here that you can use, and that's under the reporting menu right here on the right. It looks like a little graph icon. Now, you can play with the heat map reports, but again, this is the system trying to figure out who's rated what when. So they are really not in usable state right now. We are working with the vendor on our excuse me, heat map reports. What everybody does like is your evaluation completion report. So let's click on that. All right, so when I'm out here, I have evaluation completion report. I have to select a plan type to run. Don't pay no attention to this. Pick your plan type over here. And I'm going to, let's just pick abbreviated. Now, I don't want to run every single activity. See, they're all checked. So I need to scroll down. I'm going to deselect all of these. I only want to know who's done their training and orientation and has all of the activities in observation 1 done. So we'll check those. All right, so I'm down to the lock observation number 1 activities. So that's all I want on my report. I'm going to have to scroll back down, and I'm going to refresh my data. All right, so it refreshed. You just have to scroll down to then see your data. And it shows down here, see if I can scroll, all the activities in the abbreviated plan type that I selected are now showing in this report. Make it a little bigger. There we go. Notice you also have some percentages up here. How many people are fully completed with the abbreviated evaluation? Well, nobody yet. How many are in progress? 75% of my people are. So in my group I have 4, so that's 3 people. And then how many are complete? Right here, I do have 1 that's completed because that was one of my test users. So the report also has, you can drill down. So if I click the plus sign, now I can see where everybody is on each activity. So 75% we're done with training and orientation, 1 is still in progress. And just scroll down and look at each activity to see where everybody's at. And of course you have your individual reports right here on where everybody is at. Can you download this spreadsheet? Yes, right here. See if I can scroll back over a little bit. And I don't know why they make these so tiny, but right here is a spreadsheet that you can click to download that CSV. I'm not going to do it, but you can open it with Excel or save the file and open it in Excel. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, it did open. I must have clicked on it. All right, so there it is. Right there. And you can then use your data, to manipulate your data from there. There was one other area out here at the top should be a PDF icon, if I can find it. I'll scroll over. There it is. See, again, they like these little tiny things. I could download a PDF of this whole page. So it's going to give me all what I've checked, all the percentages, and then all of this data down below. It does not, I don't know if it gives you the whole list, so just play with that PDF and see what it does give you. But if you had somebody wanting to see some percentages, that would be a good way to go, is to print that PDF. Any questions about the reports on the evaluation participation dashboard? All right. All right, let's go back to our slides. All right, and then these are kind of small on the slide, but when you open them up on your own, you can see the steps that we just did on how to clear those check marks, check what you need in the report, refresh the data, and then scroll down to see what you need. Now, I have had some folks to say on this spreadsheet that when they highlighted it and copied it and pasted it, that the colors came over. When you download the spreadsheet, you don't get the pretty colors. You're going to have to reformat Excel. But some folks have told me that the colors did come over if they highlighted it, copied it, and pasted it into Excel. All right, so we got about 20 minutes left. Let's take a quick look at creating ad hoc reports. And this is for NCEES district administrators. Site administrators cannot create ad hoc reports, but it's good to know what your district administrator could create so you can request reports. So the basics of the ad hoc reporting, we have some questions to ask ourselves. What reports do I want to pick? Where did the information go in? What part of the system am I trying to pull data from? Let me send this to my husband. Come get the puppy. All right. And then what am I trying to find? And then when you're creating the query, you're going to ask yourself, which fields do I need? Which fields don't I need? What I want to omit? Do I want to sort any fields? Because we have a sorting feature. Am I going to publish this report to other users? Do I want to add a filter? Do I need a graph report? So then when you publish it, who am I going to share it with? Who would they want to receive the report? Who in your district would need to receive the report? And should their view be restricted at all? And how big of the data am I trying to put in this report? So there is a guide out here, and I have given you a Word version and a PDF version for ad hoc reporting with all the steps. So do watch for that. And we're going to go look at this live in just a minute. So if you have any questions, do let me know. these are your target reports. So the first one is evaluation access groups, where you can query for a list of names with an access group that has been identified. So who has access to what? You have evaluation form single row. It gives you all the different areas in your evaluation. It can report on multiple rows or the activities that are going on in the system. Evaluation intervention. I've not known anybody that has used that much, but it's supposed to show people who need intervention due to performance in their program or their plan. You have an evaluation status, and we have a lot of reports published for that. It shows completion statuses for each step, which in whatever plan that you select. You have observation reports, and I'll let you read over those. So we can go take a look in just a minute. If you're working with PD, you have some course reports. So we have searching for any courses that you have out there. It can be archived or historical or current. Are you using Transfer Credit Manager? Maybe you want a report to show what transfer credits have been put in the system for your staff. When you build out a course PD learning opportunity or course, and you've added people to the roster, or they have searched for the course and added themselves, there's a report to show who is on the roster. And if you're keeping up with attendance for PD, there is a section attendance for your instructor-led courses as well. And again, some more PD reports. You can report on your sections and class times. You can search your course sections. If you've assigned surveys on any kind of course, you can display those survey answers in this report. And then transcript report. Who has the credits they need? So that would be pulling from their staff transcripts in NCEES. Now, if you're using credits outside of NCEES, this report is only showing you what has been put in NCEES, not any outside of NCEES. Now, if you put them in through Transfer Credit Manager, then yes, you can use that, because I do have a couple districts that are putting everything in NCEES. And then there's the wait list. Who is signed up for a course but got put on the wait list? Some other reports, I like the people report. You can run a report for who's in your system, what plan type do they have, what PDP type do they have, and then user sites, what sites are my people linked to. For those of you that really enjoy creating reports, I have created a spreadsheet of all the fields in each of those reports. So this is very good to use. Maybe you want to come out here so that if you were to ever leave, you can say, I use this field, and this field, and I named this report such and such. So this is a spreadsheet for your use. There's no checks here. If you want to keep a record of what you created, what fields were used in the report, then you can just like put an X in each field that was used, and then you'll have a record of those reports that you create. All right, so out here, we're going to go navigate and look at this in just a second. When you go over to your reports page, you're going to see your current reports. You're going to see your templates. So any report that you build out is now known and save is now known over here as a memorized report. It's a little bit different from what's on the reportings page. PowerSchool also refers to these as memorized reports, reports that you've created and you've saved to run again. So if you created it, you're going to see that run icon that we saw earlier, and you can edit any reports that you created. You'll see the pencil icon. So you cannot edit any reports that I created at DPI level, but you can edit a report that you created at your district level. And then we're going to look at identifying the parameters for your report. You have to put a checkbox for each field that you want included on the report. You can sort. There's only two sort options. So maybe I want to come down to the bottom of this report, sort by school first, and then come up here and sort by last name. So you can there's only two areas to sort by. But then, of course, once you download it, you can sort it in Excel any which way you want. here's that filter option. Do I want to let those I publish this report to use a filter on a certain field? So maybe I want to have a filter option on last name, then I would check the square box. Is this a field that will pull graphical data? So I could do a pie and a bar. Now I've just started playing with these because I don't run reports as much as you all do. I would love to hear from any of you all out there that have done graphing options in this report, but I'm hoping to put together another webinar more in depth on this, on using the bar and pie graphs as soon as I figure out which reports run best with those. But they are really cool reports. You just have to make sure when you're coming over here to save your report to make sure you bullet the graphical data here, and then it will print out those nice bar graphs, pie graphs, whatever you selected. And then, of course, you're going to fill in any saved data. You're going to name it, put in a description if you want. Do you want to restrict the results? I think maybe I just see this. You may not see all the restrict results checkboxes. Is this going to be just your raw data, or are you trying to run a graphical report? You're going to save or save as. And then right here, you're going to save your report details, make sure everything is correct. And then you're going to get ready to publish it out if you want to publish it out. Maybe you're creating a report just for you to run. But if you want to create a report for other DAs or other site admins to run, you can publish it. So let's jump over there real quick because we only have a few minutes. And I'll show you that real quick. So we're going to System Administration. Oh, and this is the site administrator, so there we go. Let's stop impersonating. He does not have access to the ad hoc reporting. So we're going to say is me. When you come out here, you are going to see ad hoc reporting restricted. So I went to System Administration. I came under Applications, and you should see ad hoc reporting restricted. Well, that restricted just means these reports are only going to run to where you're restricted to run reports for. So if you're restricted to Brunswick County, it's only going to return reports for Brunswick County. If you're restricted to a certain school in the county, it's only going to run a report that's been for that school. All right, so here's your page, and you're on your ad hoc reporting page. You're going to see any recent report that you've run. If it's available to run, to view, you're going to see an eye icon. If you want to rerun it, you can click the rerun. Now, do check those when you click rerun. Sometimes it adds additional check marks you may not want. So if you rerun it, make sure it still selects the same data that you ran before. I do have some errors. PowerSchool is working on clearing errored out reports. So hopefully we'll have that fixed within the next few weeks. So here are those current target reports areas. And I can do new report. I can come down. Let's look at one down here. I want to try to find one that was published to you. Let's do evaluation form single row. Here are the published reports. Notice I can run or edit. And if I have recently run this report, then I should have some cache reports in here. See, this is still processing, so they need to clear these out. These are my errored out reports. But notice it does give you a date, so it should give you a date when the cache report is going away. If I want to create a new report, I just wanted to let you see the actual steps that you're going to do. And you may not see as much in the gray box on the left as I do, but you should still be able to name your report, give a description, and include, do the save and save as. You want to first pick the evaluation plan if you're running an evaluation plan report. So I want to run for current year. Those are the best ones to run. Give it a second because it's going to give me, see how it just gave me some additional fields to run. Now it knows what plan I want to run for. It's going to give me some additional reports. Maybe I don't want to run every single blue checkbox here. I can go through and I can just start unselecting, or I can select all and unselect all. Now I can come back in and I can say I want to see this, I want to see this one, and then go on down and select what I want to see. Now you can keep defining your report if you want to, or if you leave this definition here blank, it will pull for all of these fields that are in here. I can do equals. Well, I think I just froze that. Right here. My system's not letting me click, sorry. Give it just a minute. So we'll keep talking. You get the idea. Maybe it's going to do it now. There we go. You do equals or does not equal. You can add additional steps, groups. Do I want to see both archive plans and active plans? So right now I'm telling it to run for both. Maybe I only want to see unarchived plans, my active plans, I'm going to say no. Now, if I want that right there to show on the report, I need to check the box. But I can do this setting, and it will only pull my active plans and not print it on the report if I leave it blank. Okay. You can add dates, so I want to see all plans that were created on or after July 1st. I can add that in there. So I want to see plans that were last updated by a certain date, and so on. So just go through each one and decide if you want it to show on the report. So here's all my plan information, a lot of information that you could pull for this report. And come on down here to the next section. All right. Do I want to include the person that owns the report? So yes, I do. I want their last name. I want their first name. I want their PDP plan type. And maybe I know I'm asking for abbreviated, but I do want to show that on the report. So I'm going to print that as well. Do I want their employee ID? Decide that. Remember, home phone is not in NCEES. So maybe I want to sort this report first by their last name and then by their first name. So that's how I sort. Maybe I want to have some filter options on here for the last name. Maybe I want filter options for what kind of PDP plan they're on. Maybe I want to be able to filter later and run a report for only those that are on a monitor plan. All right, you can also drill down into your sites. So I can go all the way down into the schools that are listed right here. Maybe I only want to run for this school. You can check as many of those if you want, and if you want it to print on the report, remember to check this box. Primary site is not searchable, but it can be printed on the report, so you can check that. It's going to be very similar to what's here, but if they have access to more than one site, maybe I want to know what their primary site is. Demographics, you can, I don't use this a lot, but you can look at your instructional staff, and maybe I'm going to go in the role. Maybe I only want to run my classroom teachers in this report. So I could check that and include only my classroom teachers. Do I want to run active accounts or inactive accounts? I'm going to run both. I do want to know if this person is active or inactive. And then there's one more area for sites. We're already selected sites up here. But you can also come down here if you want the school codes or the district codes, you can include those. So the school number and the school name. All right, and then I'm going to name it. Which report was it abbreviated? Yes, so abbreviated. You can fill in a description. It's not mandatory. I can either just go ahead and run this and see if I like it first before I save it. But if I'm ready to save it, then I can just click Save, Save As. I don't really think it really matters a lot. Now, where it does matter is if you're trying to recreate or update a report, you may want to do a Save As. Just a reminder to make sure your bullet is correct. I'm not picking any pie or bar graph information, so I only want raw data. So since I'm not doing graphical, I probably don't need summary rows either. So I'm just going to do a save as. And now it's popped me to this page. I'm just going to save the report details. I have a drop down here to run this report. I can schedule an export, or I can delete this report. And we're not going to do any of those right now. Just want to show you pretty quick before we sign off. This is where you publish to other users. So we're going to target to a group, or you can add an individual. They do have to be in NCEES. So we won't go through all these because we only have 5 minutes left today. But when do you want this to show up to the people to run it? So you can put a date. It's not required. You can put a date for the report to expire. Maybe it's only a report that's good for this year. You could put an expiration date at the end of the year. Do I want to include all the active and inactive people? Do I want it to dynamically republish? If I say yes, then if I've published this to a site admin and I hire a new person later this month and I've set them as a site admin, if I've set this to yes, they will automatically get this report. I don't have to remember to go back in and say, oh, what reports do I need to publish to this new site admin? If this report is already set to dynamically republish, it will see that they are a site admin and add it to their My Reports page. Here's the active or inactive staff. Get this a little bit bigger for you. And then, again, here's the areas to drill down. Yes, you're going to see the number of users in the whole system. So you do need to watch this number. And as you drill down and set who you want to have in this list, watch that number, and let's hopefully it will go down. So I'm going to set this to run for just my site administrators, or to publish just for my site administrators. I'm going to click continue. And notice my number dropped. And maybe I also only want to set these for my people in my training location. So I'm going to go, let's go to district. I only want to publish this to my training region, training county. Let's just do training district and click add. So now it's listed down here. If I want to remove it, I just uncheck it and remove it. I'm going to leave it, so I'm going to click done. Now I'm only publishing this to 36 people. That sounds a whole lot better. You can add additional filters. If you've already selected people up here, this one down here, if you do a set people, it's only then going to publish to the set people that you pick. If you then do staff groups, it's only going to publish to your staff groups. Then I would click finish. It will say, are you sure? And it will publish out. So we're not going to do that in the interest of time. Let's jump back to our site. So that was pretty quick. I hope you were able to follow that okay. I'll be glad if you guys want to get on a call at any point and you want some help with these reports, just let me know, and I'll be glad to help you out with that. All right, so now it's for you guys to go figure out what reports you want to have. If you need any help creating, I'm right here for you. Do we have any questions before we get ready to give you your feedback survey link? All right, Sean Baer with PowerSchool did do a webinar. This is probably about a year old, but if you are creating professional development reports and ad hoc reporting, it's a good webinar to watch. Sean is amazing, so go watch his webinar. And then just some resource slides. If you've not been out to our NCEES Google site, please go out there. A lot of good information. If you want some information on COVID and evaluating folks during COVID, observing folks during COVID, go to that page on our Google site. I do post all our webinars out to YouTube, and you will get a follow-up email with that link. So please go check out our channel out there on YouTube. And we have a Facebook page for home base. We're trying to get 500 likes, so please go out there, like our page. Every Wednesday, you'll see a tidbit from all our, did you know, from all of our home-based products. All right, we're going to skip over support. Sorry about that. Let me get this link. And I will put this in here. If you complete our feedback, you will then get an email with a link to your certificate for today. So I'm going to put that in the chat. And thank you for attending today, and thank you, Tessa, for joining me today and hanging out with us. We didn't get a whole lot of questions, so I hope you guys learned some today. Please, in the feedback, let me know if there's something you want to have more in detail on another webinar. Please do put that in the feedback. Kim and I are going to be reviewing that in the next couple of weeks as we plan out the second half of the year. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you. Have a good evening.